Ugh, ugly. It's tacky. No, stop it. This is ugly. Handkerchief hemline is something I cannot abide. It's just okay. It's terrible. Look at how ugly this is. Hi everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another fashion edition. Let's look at the rest of the looks from the Golden Globes, because the red carpet was actually a lot more interesting than the Critics' Choice Awards or even last year. Last year, the red carpets were just so uninspired. I was not into them at all. But let's take a look here. First, we have Duke McLeod, the 6-year-old from All Her Fault. He is wearing a light blue two-piece suit, and it is so cute. I love the shoes. That's great. I love it. This gorgeous Dior gown here. I really like this. I think this is beautiful. I like the lace overlay. And the movement throughout the skirt is really interesting paired up with the lace, and it's not too much. So it very easily could have gotten too busy and too noisy with this. So it's just a testament to Dior's skill designing this to be perfectly balanced. Chase's emerald satin Balenciaga dress, I don't really love. Look at how the bust line looks like it's just lifted away and scooted to the side. It looks totally far and away from her actual bust and body, so it's not fitting her properly there. I do, however, really like the sleek, simple hairstyle that's not like slicked back too tight or anything like that. It's very beautiful with this hair and makeup, and jewelry is perfectly balanced for this, and this color is gorgeous, and it also looks like it fits her really nicely from the waist down, but the bust line, what is happening? Who did that? What is going on? Priyanka Chopra is wearing Dior here in this midnight blue dress. I don't love this one though, which is a shocker because I usually like Dior almost always. I really like the bodice portion of this, but I don't love this bubble hem situation where it gathers above the knee. It's creating a little bit of a frumpy silhouette across the thigh, and it's not meant to. It's obviously intentional this way, but it's just not that flattering for Priyanka because she is a more hourglass shape. Having something that adds more to the hip and thigh, and then it shrinks down at the knee in this very abrupt and dramatic change in volume. It's going to shorten her vertical line and interrupt the vertical line, and it's making her hip to thigh area look the most visually heavy, and therefore that's where your eye rests, and it's just not that flattering. This canary yellow Matthew Reisman gown is actually really nice. This is a maternity piece for her, and it's beautiful. I love the sheer draping across the front here is elongating and interesting, and it doesn't have to be like the most figure-hugging piece either. I think this is really nice for a maternity look. It's something different as well. Probably a little bit easier to wear too, because it's also not a bunch of volume, which can be very uncomfortable if you're pregnant, especially if you're like very pregnant. You don't want a ton of extra volume. You don't want anything added on. Robin Wright's Ralph Lauren dress is very nice, though I feel like the sort of cap sleeve situation here, though I like that it has more fabric across the shoulders. That is a positive, I guess. The way this is done looks a little cheap and amateur here. The way it sort of just cuts off. I don't love the way that looks. I feel like if she had like opera gloves or something in that matched this sort of cap sleeve sheer fabric that came up really high, opera gloves, it would have made it look more intentional. But this looks like an afterthought that was tacked on and made of like cheap fabric. And also it doesn't have quite enough volume at the hip to balance out her upper body. So if this had had just a little bit of a flare at the hip and maybe some opera gloves, it would have been a lot better than this. I really do not like this Giambattista Valli gown on Lee Jun Lee. I think this is terrible. This is ugly. It looks unintentional and ill-fitting here right around the crotch. Like, look at how ill-fitting that looks. And it looks like it's unintentionally showing too much. You know what I mean? This does not look on purpose enough. The color is pretty, but everything else about this it's not quite executed well enough or not quite fitted well enough. I feel like the fabric is luscious and beautiful. I like this sweeping draping across the arm for the sleeve, and the flow of the fabric downward, those vertical lines are really nice, but what he did underneath sucks. It really does. And this loud floral ruffling bit is too heavy, is too much. I don't like it. Snoop Dogg's suit is very interesting. I like the layering with the red here. I think this is nice. Unfortunately, I don't really like Lisa's dress here. The sheer overlay is a nice idea across the top, but I'm not sure exactly what happened with the skirt situation. And these tassels remind me of drapes, not something to be worn with a dress. It looks like it's adding a little bit of weight and bulk to her lower abdomen, just the way this is designed. So I'm not loving it, but I wish I did, because I like the way it looks around the sleeve without the tassels. I'm not sure what's going on with Alicia Silverstone lately, but she keeps wearing things that make her lower abdomen and thighs look bigger and chunkier than they are. And that's happening because there is ruching down the center, and the gathering of the fabric is adding not only a focal point where your eye is going to rest, but it's also adding a lot more visual weight because there is just more fabric there without enough of vertical line to sort of get your eye to flow out of it. So it just creates all this weight here at the lower abdomen, hip, thigh area that just doesn't look flattering, because instead of adding a little volume throughout the skirt to balance her shoulder and her bust line, she's minimizing the volume there and resting the eye there, and it just makes her look bulkier. I feel like she needs something that's got some sleeve, at least a short sleeve, and has a little bit of volume throughout the thigh so that it can create a little bit more of an accentuating appearance for her waistline. And this around the bust line also, it doesn't look very well fitted, so it looks a little sloppy, a little bit messy lately, the outfits that she's been choosing. So that's disappointing. That's unfortunate. Cheryl Lee Ralph is wearing a Harbison Studio dress. I think it's just okay. I like the color all right. The ruffles across the neckline, I could do without. I think they're okay. Overall, it just looks a little bit ill-fitting because there's some pulling and some tugging on those seams. But it's not the worst. It's just okay. I really quite like Damson Idris's Prada suit, except that the trousers look too small, especially for this suit jacket. This jacket has plenty of room in it. It really does. It's a little bit roomy, a little bit oversized. And then these trousers are like skinny, slim fit, ankle length. He needed a little bit more room in the trouser to balance this out. He just did. It's just a fact. Otherwise, he looks great. Mia Goth's custom Dior halter gown is just okay. I don't like how much it's pulling away here at the bust line at the chest. It makes it look ill-fitting, but the rest is so well done. It's okay. Maya Rudolph's dress, unfortunately, just looks a little bit awkward here. The handkerchief hemline is something I cannot abide. I absolutely despise a handkerchief hemline. It always makes things look more messy. And this overall, I feel like would have been a lot more flattering to her if it would have just had a slight A-line where it flared out from the hip. That would have given the illusion that she has a little bit more well-defined waist here. It's staying snug until the knee area where it begins to flare out for the handkerchief hemline just made things look a little bit more bulky. Especially with that chunky necklace, it's not helping anything. I do not care, as sad as it is to say, I do not care for this baby blue Dior gown on Jessie Buckley. It is ill-fitting as all get out. This is just, it does not fit her right, like at all. This looks messy, and especially paired with the embroidery or the texture to the fabric. I like the embossing or texture in the fabric. I really do. This silky satin with the floral pattern on it is beautiful, except you can see it adds a lot of mess because every single seam here has some puckering, and overall the design just doesn't fit her well enough. This doesn't look good. No, I'm not loving this at all. Unfortunately. I mean, like, it could have been great if they had worked a little bit harder on it. Justine Lupe's ethereal Armani Privé dress embroidered with crystals is really, really beautiful. I like this a lot. It's very nice. Timothée Chalamet is wearing chrome hearts. I think it's just okay. I'm not a huge fan of that. Amal Clooney's vintage Balmain is beautiful. I love this. This is gorgeous. Wow. Really beautiful, perfectly fit, as you can see. Absolutely no flaws. One of the best of the night. Amanda Seyfried is wearing Versace. I think it's just okay. I don't love the asymmetry of these cups here. And I wish she went for her hair down in a more old Hollywood sort of a style that had the softness around her shoulders and whatnot. But I do like the diagonal draping of the fabric is very flattering for her figure. Eva Victor's Loewe dress is not my favorite. I don't love how much weight and bulk it's adding to the waist and the midsection here. It's not a very flattering approach to just have a ton of extra fabric around your tummy. It's never going to look that great. Leonardo DiCaprio's Dior suit looks fabulous. One of the best dressed men of the night for sure. Jennifer Lopez's vintage dress, I don't care for. I am over these. The mermaid flare, the naked dress, it's gotta go. Enough is enough. I'm tired of it. Especially this. It almost looks like remember those sheer shirts that made it look like you had tattoos all over the place? That's what this reminds me of. It's tacky. No. Stop it. Charlie wearing Saint Laurent is messy. This is very messy. This sort of feathered bodice is messy. We're adding weight to the waist with the bow, and then there's like bunching of the fabric in the lower abdomen. The white looks cheap, especially paired with this stuff. It's just too much. I don't like this, especially with the really, really wide sort of off the shoulder neckline. It's widening her shoulder line and then it's widening her hip line just a tad here, but it's not giving us enough definition or balance because we also have a bow adding to the waistline. So everything has had a lot of stuff added to it. And then it's just a plain simple column skirt underneath. It doesn't have good balance, this outfit. Sarah Snook's very streamlined dress here is really, really nice. This lacy look is perfect for her. She would have looked great with an updo as well to kind of pull her up out of this a tad, but this is really nice. As you can see, because it is all one pattern the whole way through and well fitted, it is elongating her figure and it's allowing her waistline to look more well defined because she is a little bit pear-shaped. So having a little bit of a shoulder pad helped to balance her hip line. This looks very flattering. This is very nice. I really like Haley Steinfeld's Prada dress here. This is another maternity look, though it looks a tiny bit ill-fitting around the armpit area, and the necklace is a little heavy. Overall, I like this. I think this is very pretty. This Loewe dress is ugly. The shape of the cups here for this neckline is weird. It's very dramatic shape. That's not very flattering. And then everything is just hanging from there. So she looks very wide, very heavy down the center. Like there's adding just a lot of bulk here. This is not very flattering at all. It's also making her legs look short and her arms look incredibly long. I don't know what's going on with the proportions, but it sucks. This is not good. Parker Posey's very dramatic Rodarte dress is okay. I like the opera gloves. I like the styling and necklace here. This is working for her figure, but it is so theatrical that it makes me feel like it would have been better at the Met Gala. But this is beautiful in theory. I mean, it's a tiny bit wrinkly here and there, but the ruffles patterned this way and these vertical lines are helping to elongate her figure just a tad because she's not the tallest lady, so she needed a little help there. It's making it look like she has a very nice, well-defined waist with this ruffling across the bust paired up with the volume of the skirt. It's just borderline too costumey, in my opinion, for the Golden Globes, but it's okay. I like this Loewe dress on Britt Lower, though. The asymmetry of it is creating a beautiful flow, and it's preventing the volume across the shoulder line and the collar of this from being too heavy because it flows into a vertical line. It adds enough balance that it's not just like bulk and weight and heaviness. This is the right way to go about adding a sculptural piece or something a little bit more voluminous to make sure there's enough of a vertical line that it doesn't just look too heavy and too much. This is nice. And the color is beautiful on her too. Rose Byrne's Chanel dress, I think, is just okay. It's not my favorite of the night. I feel like the triangle shaped, neckline and bust line of this could have been more flattering, especially with those seams under the bust, the bottom of the cups. The shape of it's not the most flattering, but the color is stunning and her hair and makeup look amazing. Chloe Zhao's dress is terrible. Look at how ugly this is. The seams are going every which way. It looks terribly ill-fitting. There's puckering and pulling at all the seams. It's wrinkly. Ugh, this is terrible. I don't like it at all. Rhea Seehorn's Louis Vuitton dress is like this embossed gold that I always think looks a little cheap. It's also a little bulky. Anytime you have something that's adding a good amount of volume all the way around your waistline, it's tricky. It's tricky as all get out because it can just add too much weight to your waistline. And this also looks pretty stiff. I don't think it's the most flattering silhouette. At least not for her. It's not my favorite. Benicio del Toro looks fabulous. Love the suit. Love the hair. Leslie Mann's Balenciaga dress, again, you guys know I'm still kind of not that into Balenciaga right now, but this sculptural design actually flatters her figure really nicely. It creates a nice defined waistline for her here. She has a rather rectangular body type, so this is a great trick for that, but overall I still feel like there's a little too much volume across the top. It looks a little bit too roomy there, and I'm not sure I love the stark white opera gloves paired up with it, but overall she looks beautiful. Kirsten Dunst Tom Ford dress looks very beautiful, very well done, perfectly made, as per usual for Tom Ford. The construction is always on point. Jackie Ton's Pamela Roland dress is quite pretty here. I really like this. I think it has great balance. I like the tulle paired up with the satin here. Even though it's very high contrast and two very different textures, I feel like this was done in a masterful way. This is beautiful. The only thing I wish is that she had a beautiful pendant necklace breaking up the décolleté just right there in the middle. That would make it all the more amazing. Jennifer Garner's dress, I feel like, is a little bit uninspired. She also is a little bit of an inverted triangle shape. Her shoulders are her broadest point, so she would have benefited from more volume throughout the skirt rather than tiers that get smaller and smaller as it goes. It's not the least flattering thing I've ever seen her in or anything like that, but it could have been better and a little bit more balancing to her figure if it had a little bit more volume rather than less volume as it got down to the bottom hemline. Jennifer Goodwin's dress, another one I just don't like, this Armani Privé. As you can see, her base layer let her down here. You can see a seam along the hip underneath the dress. She needed a better smoothing layer or something, a better lining to the dress or something. There's a little bit of pulling throughout here, like it just doesn't quite fit her perfectly. The vertical lines of this are strong and nice and could be very slimming for her figure, but they are getting interrupted by this horizontal band at the hip here that we can see that's probably from an undergarment. We can't say for sure, obviously. It could have wrinkled in the car, like from the sitting, but the execution of this just really let her down, unfortunately. Olandrian Carthen's Christian Siriano dress is really, really beautiful here. I like this a lot. This is gorgeous. It's sculptural. It's stunning color on her. Wow, this is beautiful. And it has great balance. It really does. Everything about this is gorgeous. Christian Siriano, he literally can go either way. It either sucks or it's like amazing. It's so hard to predict whether Christian Siriano's dresses and designs are going to be great or not, because half the time it looks like someone else entirely designed it. And it's like, what was he thinking? Amy Poehler's Ami Paris outfit, I don't like because of this puddling up of fabric on the floor. It looks overwhelming. What is happening? Why is there just a bunch of fabric sitting on the floor? What's going on here? I don't like that. But the top is okay if we just had a little bit more whatever is happening, if it's supposed to be a train, it doesn't look intentional enough to be read as a train. Therefore, it's not well enough designed. If these are just her trousers and they are puddling up that badly, then someone help her. My God, that's terrible. Gayle King's Pamela Roland outfit looks terribly ill-fitting. This looks messy and tacky. I do not care for that. Leave what you thought was the best and worst in the comments. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a happy day ahead, and I will see you next time. Bye!